Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed part one. If you missed it, go ahead and click on this link here and you'll be able to watch that video before you come to this one. If you already watched that, great. Welcome back. Today we are going to be covering basic robotic components. And we're going to talk about sensors, we're going to talk about structures, and everything that makes up a robot. So have you ever wondered what makes a robot tick? What makes it move? What makes it stop? What makes it turn? What makes it go? Well, today I'm going to answer all those questions for you and more, so let's get started. So robots function using the same principles, but as the number of tasks that they are designed to perform increases, so does the complexity and number of parts. So we're going to start off simple. So every robot needs a minimum of 6 components. The first component every robot needs is a structure. The structure is the skeleton of the robot. Just like we have a skeleton with bones and joints, robots also need this structure so they can move and perform the tasks that they are designed to do. The design of the structure is based on what the function of the robot is. Component number 2 is a power source. Everything electronic needs some type of power source to power it. And a battery is the most common source of power for today's robots. As our robots get bigger and they're expected to travel longer ranges, we are starting to see more of a fuel power generation becoming popular with the outdoor long-range robots such as drones and autonomous vehicles. And the way these work is there is a gas engine or some type of fuel-powered engine that drives a generator. And that generator charges a battery, and that battery powers the robot. The third component is sensors. So sensors are the nerves of the robot. Much like we have nerves, we touch things, we see, we hear, and all this is data for us. And it works the same way as a robot does, but we use it in different ways. So sensors for robots can come in a variety of different operations such as sight, audible, ultrasonic, pressure, tilt, GPS, and many more. And the choice of sensors that we use in the robots fully depend on what the intended function is for that robot. So the fourth component is a control unit. The control unit is a component that processes all the data that is sent in from the sensors. Just like if we see something, we get that data, it goes to our brain, we process it, and we react. A robot is no different. A robot gets information from sensors, it goes to the control unit, it processes it, and it reacts. Then it sends it to the actuators and motors. Speaking of actuator motors, they are the 5th component that every robot needs. The motors and the actuators are the muscles of the robot. They're the ones that do the movement and the heavy lifting. Their main function is for movement, and they're controlled by the control unit. And depending on what function the robot has is going to be dependent on what type of motors or actuators, the size, and the strength of it. Alright, and last but not least is the user interface. Nothing could be possible in a robot without a user interface. The user interface is how we communicate to the robot, or how we program the robot to do what we want it to do. It's a way that we send our program into the control unit. So we can upload a program to a robot, and so it can perform a task without our assistance, or we can load a program that will allow it to accept inputs from an external controller such as a remote control. And from this, we can operate the robot. So that covers the basic 6 components that every robot needs to function. So the structure holds all the components. The battery supplies power to the electrical components. The sensors gather all the data in from its surroundings, and that data is sent to the control unit. The control unit utilizes a program that we put in through the user interface, and it turns that data into movement via sending it out to the motors. And that is pretty much the basics on how a robot functions. So in the next video of this series, we're going to talk about the basics of programming. We're going to talk about what different types of software is needed to write these programs, how we get the programs into the robot so we can actually use them, and how the robot and all the sensors and all the motors actually interact with the program. So I hope I see you next time. So please consider subscribing so you won't miss when the next video comes out. And until next time, I'll see you later.